If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns have finally pulled the trigger on a decision that many fans saw coming, but few believed would actually happen so soon. On Wednesday, the team officially announced that rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel will step into the role of starting quarterback, taking the reins from veteran Joe Flacco. For Browns fans, this is a storyline that feels all too familiar. Another new name, another new hope, and another chance to wonder if this will finally be the quarterback who can stabilize a franchise that has been searching for answers under center for over 2 decades. Gabriel becomes the 41st man to start a game at quarterback for Cleveland since 1999, and with that number hanging like a cloud over the franchise's history, the big question is obvious. Is Dillon Gabriel truly the one who can turn things around? Or is this just another chapter in a frustrating cycle? Gabriel himself addressed the media with a perspective that was both refreshing and incredibly honest. He didn't dance around the reality of what this opportunity means, nor did he pretend that the timing was ideal. Instead, he leaned on a story that resonated with fans and reporters alike. Gabriel said he got a text from a close friend who sent him a picture of a fire station. The friend pointed out the details of that image: the doors wide open, the garage clear, everything prepared and ready, just waiting for the call that would spark action. To Gabriel, that symbol perfectly represented his own role as a quarterback. He explained that being in this league is about constant preparation, about being ready for that moment when the team finally calls your number. You don't control when it comes, but you control how ready you are when it does. That kind of mindset is what separates a player simply holding a roster spot from a player who can actually shift the culture of a franchise. Gabriel said that when he got the nod, when he realized this was no longer about watching from the sideline, he couldn't help but smile. It was the moment he had prepared for his entire career, from college to training camp to every rep he's taken with the backups. But he quickly emphasized that this isn't just about joy, it's about focus. The excitement is real, but it has to be paired with discipline, because without that focus, the NFL can chew you up and spit you out in no time. For Gabriel, this is about showing that he belongs, not just for one game or 1 week, but as a leader of this team for the long haul. Gabriel also demonstrated a sharp awareness of the circumstances. He admitted that the situation is far from perfect. He's stepping into a Browns offense that is dealing with injuries along the offensive line, inconsistency at wide receiver, and the pressure of keeping up with a defense that has carried the team for much of the season. But in his words, waiting for the perfect time is a fool's game. If you keep holding out for everything to line up just right, you'll be waiting forever. And that's not what the NFL is about. Opportunities are rare, and you have to seize them when they come. That kind of determination has already made an impression on the fan base, which is desperate for a quarterback who won't flinch when things aren't ideal. The decision to bench Joe Flacco was not made lightly. At 40 years old, Flacco still has the arm strength and experience that once made him a Super Bowl champion. But the truth is that Cleveland needs more than just a steady hand. They need upside, energy, and the possibility of growth. Gabriel represents all of that. He is an unknown quantity in the NFL, but in this league, sometimes the unknown is more appealing than the predictable. Fans know what Flacco can provide, and it's not enough to elevate this team beyond mediocrity. With Gabriel, there's at least the chance that lightning can strike, that his style and confidence can spark something new in the Browns offense. But let's be realistic here. Gabriel's first test will not be easy. The Browns will head overseas to London in Week 5 to face the Minnesota Vikings, a team with a defense that is as aggressive as it is talented. Minnesota has a pass rush that feasts on inexperienced quarterbacks, and with Cleveland's offensive line banged up, Gabriel is walking into the fire from day one. Add to that the unique challenge of playing your first ever NFL start in a foreign country, with the time zone shifts, the travel, the spectacle of an international game, and it's clear that this is a trial by fire. No one should expect Gabriel to look flawless in his debut. Struggles are almost guaranteed, and that's okay, as long as the effort and flashes of potential are there. That's the key word for Browns fans right now: patience. This isn't going to be a fairy tale overnight. Gabriel is not going to step on the field and instantly transform Cleveland into a contender. That's not how the NFL works, and it's especially not how things work for a team like the Browns, who have been trying to build a consistent winner for decades. What Gabriel can bring, however, is hope. If he shows resilience in the face of pressure, if he demonstrates accuracy and composure even in tough situations, that could be the start of something special. The Browns don't need him to be perfect. They just need him to be the kind of leader who grows week by week. Another layer to this story is the ripple effect it has across the AFC North. While Cleveland is making a major change under center, their division rival, the Baltimore Ravens, are facing a devastating blow of their own. Reports suggest that Lamar Jackson's injury could potentially derail the Ravens' entire season. That opens up opportunities in the division, but it also creates urgency for teams like Cleveland to figure out their quarterback situation now, while the race is still wide open. Gabriel's promotion doesn't just affect the Browns internally. It shifts the dynamic of the division in ways that could have long-term consequences. For Browns fans, the narrative is familiar, but the emotion is different this time. Gabriel isn't coming in with the fanfare of a top draft pick or the baggage of a well-traveled veteran. He's arriving with humility, perspective, and a determination to prove that he belongs. That's refreshing in a city where the quarterback carousel has become a running joke across the league. Maybe, just maybe, Gabriel can be the one who finally changes that story. And even if he isn't the permanent solution, his chance is symbolic of something larger, that the Browns are willing to take risks, to embrace the unknown, and to try something new instead of settling for mediocrity. As the team boards that flight to London, the eyes of Cleveland fans will be fixed on Dillon Gabriel. They know the challenges he'll face, they know the mistakes he might make, but they also know what's at stake. Every new quarterback represents a fresh start, and after years of disappointment, the city is desperate for a fresh chapter. Whether Gabriel can deliver on that remains to be seen, but for the first time in a long time, Browns fans have a reason to tune in with genuine curiosity and cautious excitement. The fire station doors are open, the sirens are ready, and Dillon Gabriel has answered the call. Now it's time to see if he can lead this team out of the smoke and into something brighter. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Big news shaking the NFL world this morning. And if you blinked, you might have missed one of the most talked about moves of the offseason. Higgins is reportedly on his way to becoming the newest weapon for the Cleveland Browns, effectively flipping the script on the entire AFC North. Now, before we dive into the details, let's set the stage. Higgins, the talented wide receiver who has been a staple in Cincinnati, has been linked to trade rumors for months, with fans and analysts alike speculating about where he might land if the Bengals decided to move on. The whispers started as early as the end of last season, and now, according to sources close to the situation, the deal is all but done. Imagine that for a second. Higgins, once a rising star in Cincy, now potentially suiting up to line up against his former teammates, creating an entirely new dynamic in one of the league's toughest divisions. The implications are massive, not just for Cleveland, but for the balance of power in the AFC North as a whole. Cleveland has been quietly aggressive in the offseason, and this move would be the crown jewel of a series of strategic decisions aimed at reshaping their roster. For years, the Browns have been chasing consistency at wide receiver, trying to give their quarterback the kind of weapons that turn good offenses into great ones. Enter Higgins. Known for his size, speed, and ability to make contested catches, Higgins has always been considered a borderline elite receiver in the NFL. He has that rare combination of athleticism and route-running precision that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep at night. But more than just his stats, it's his presence on the field that changes the way defenses have to game plan. Now, pair that with Cleveland's current roster, and you can start to see why this rumor, if it becomes official, could signal a seismic shift in the AFC North's hierarchy. There's a lot to unpack here, and insiders suggest that the Browns front office pulled out all the stops to make this deal happen. We're talking a package that, according to the buzz, balances draft capital with strategic player swaps. The idea is clear. Cleveland doesn't just want Higgins. They want him to be the centerpiece of a passing attack that can finally compete at the highest level, week in and week out. And let's not underestimate the psychological impact of this move. Switching divisions and landing with a divisional rival adds a layer of drama that fans will absolutely eat up. Every Bengals fan who loved seeing Higgins make plays is now bracing themselves for matchups that will be intense, personal, and perhaps a bit awkward. You can already imagine the commentary, the pre-game narratives, the storylines about facing your old team, and that's exactly the kind of intrigue that the NFL thrives on. From a strategic standpoint, Cleveland's potential acquisition of Higgins would immediately alter defensive schemes across the league. Think about it. Linebackers and safeties who once keyed in on other targets will now have to account for a receiver with the ability to stretch the field vertically while also dominating in the red zone. The Browns' offense could pivot from a balanced attack to one that's explosive, capable of quick-strike scoring that puts pressure on even the most disciplined defenses. Higgins isn't just a complementary piece, he's a game-changer. Analysts who followed his career point out his consistency in big moments, his knack for coming down with contested catches, and his ability to maintain composure when the defense is throwing every trick in the book at him. All of these qualities make him a dangerous weapon, one that could finally allow the Browns to fully leverage their offensive line and quarterback in ways that have felt just out of reach in previous seasons. Now, let's talk numbers, at least in broad strokes, because that's where the intrigue deepens. Higgins has consistently posted high reception and yardage totals, making him one of the more reliable wideouts in the league. Pair that with Cleveland's quarterback, whose mobility and arm strength are perfectly suited for a vertical passing game, and the chemistry potential here is enormous. Fans have already started debating the fit. Will Higgins seamlessly integrate into Cleveland's system, or will it take time for the timing and rhythm to develop? Early reports suggest that both parties are confident, with coaching staff reportedly excited about designing plays that maximize his skill set. There's a buzz around practice sessions and meetings where Higgins' route tree and playbook integration are top priorities. The energy in the facility, insiders say, is palpable, like a team sensing that this move could finally put them over the top. Of course, we can't ignore the ripple effects on the Bengals, either. Losing a receiver of Higgins' caliber leaves a hole that isn't easily filled. Some fans are bracing for the team to double down on other offensive weapons, perhaps giving more opportunities to younger receivers or exploring additional free agent signings. The mental aspect of seeing a former teammate thrive in a divisional rival's uniform can't be underestimated either. There's going to be a narrative tension here all season, one that sports media will undoubtedly exploit at every turn. Every catch Higgins makes against Cincinnati will be dissected, replayed, and debated endlessly, adding a layer of drama that only NFL fans live for. And for Cleveland, the message is clear. They're serious about contending. They're serious about making waves in the division. This isn't just a signing, it's a statement. Rumors also suggest that the deal has been in motion for weeks, with both sides meticulously negotiating terms that satisfy cap considerations and future planning. The Browns management, sources say, wanted to ensure that bringing in Higgins didn't just solve an immediate need, but position them strategically for the next few seasons. There's talk of performance incentives, clauses, and potential draft considerations that could have ripple effects on future drafts. If true, this is more than just a headline acquisition. It's a chess move, calculated and deliberate, designed to shift the AFC North power balance in Cleveland's favor. The intrigue surrounding how Higgins will adapt to his new environment, mesh with his quarterback, and handle the spotlight is exactly the kind of storyline that fuels the rumor mill and keeps fans glued to every social media update, press conference, and training camp report. The timing of this potential signing also raises interesting questions about divisional dynamics. The AFC North has long been dominated by traditional powerhouses, but adding Higgins to the Browns' arsenal changes the calculus for matchups, playoff projections, and even in-season strategy. Teams will have to game plan differently, knowing that a receiver of Higgins' caliber can turn any drive into a scoring threat. Defenses that once felt comfortable in their coverage schemes will suddenly have to account for the vertical and contested catch abilities of a player who consistently makes plays when it counts the most. The psychological warfare alone. Imagine Higgins walking onto the field against his former team, making clutch catches and tipping the balance in high-stakes games, is enough to make coaches sweat and fans lose sleep. And let's not forget the fan reaction, because this is where the rumor really comes alive. Social media is already buzzing with speculation, memes, and heated debates. Cleveland fans are dreaming of highlight reels that feature Higgins' contested catches in brown and orange, while Bengals fans are grappling with the reality of losing a key offensive weapon to a rival. Pundits are weighing in, breaking down potential formations, route combinations, and offensive schemes, while insiders drop tantalizing hints about press conferences that could officially confirm the deal. Every angle is being dissected, and the suspense is building to a point where the official announcement will feel like the climax of a season-long drama. The narrative practically writes itself. A former Bengal now donning the Browns' colors, potentially changing the trajectory of the division and altering playoff races in ways no one saw coming. In conclusion, though really, can we ever conclude with a story this juicy? The possibility of T. Higgins joining the Cleveland Browns is more than just a headline. It's the kind of ripple effect that shapes narratives, fuels debates, and transforms fan expectations. If this rumor comes to fruition, the AFC North will feel the impact immediately, both on the scoreboard and in the locker room. Cleveland's roster would gain not just talent, but an identity boost, signaling their intent to compete at the highest level and challenge traditional power dynamics. Meanwhile, Bengals fans, analysts, and fantasy football enthusiasts alike will have endless material to discuss, dissect, and anticipate. The NFL thrives on these moments of intrigue, and this potential move embodies everything that makes the league so compelling: strategy, drama, star power, and the ever-present potential for a game-changing shakeup. As the rumor mill spins, one thing is certain: wherever T. Higgins lands officially, the ripple effects will be felt across the league, making this offseason one to remember for years to come. The AFC North just got a little more interesting, a little more heated, and a whole lot more unpredictable. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!